Hey guys, are you able to open up the Teams meeting? Are you? Me too.
Yeah. Yeah, just talk about, okay, that's good. Yeah.
She said she can't open it.
She can't open it either? Okay. My Teams doesn't even want to open.
It started a couple years back.
I'll just make it here.
Trying to Teams in Nicole.
Just gonna,
Yep.
yeah.
Hello, does this work?
Yes, I'm sorry. I think it has something to do with my UND crossover account.
Okay. That's all right. I don't know that internet's working great anyways.
Okay.
Or we have internet, but it's not working great.
Okay. Yeah, it's great here, but it won't kick me in for some reason.
Hillsboro Commission Chamber says.
It's kind of working for me, but it doesn't want to open up my Teams
Oh,
to get the.
yeah. Maybe I'll quit browsing so many things right now. Sucking up like bandwidth.
Well, I don't know, it doesn't even want to hook up to the TVs either. I'm trying, I've done that, like, this will be attempt number
It's
4.
just us then, not working then. Casey and I are both having issues.
Okay.
And Nicole's having issues too, so.
Right. Yeah, like I signed into my Hillsboro account, but it says, we're sorry, we've run into an issue, try again. So, that's into the, that should be this account, the city account, but it doesn't. So yeah, there's something not working right here. But I can hear you.
Any luck?
I'm trying, I finally got it up on the screen, so,
That's what I was worried about.
okay. I'll see if I can delete this one and maybe try to do a new one.
Well, I think go ahead and call the meeting to order. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Has everybody had a chance to look at the minutes from the last meeting?
Make a motion to approve the minutes from the last meeting.
Paul makes a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Moved and seconded by Paul and Dave. Is there any other discussion? Any other discussion? Seeing none, proceed vote. All those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed, please say nay. Motion carries. Next item is the bills. Has everybody had a chance to look at the bills? So do I have a motion to approve?
Make the motion. I'll second.
Dave makes the motion, Jason seconds. Is there any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Next item is Commissioner's Report. We'll start with Nicole tonight, if you have anything.
Yeah, just a couple things. There's nothing on the water or sewer, but received the meeting minutes from the airport. And there's just a few things they have that I just kind of wanted to mention. Ramp construction project has been delayed due to the rain, so hopefully that gets done soon. There is a punch list ready to be gone over, and part of this list is to remove asphalt and excess gravel millings from the new hangar area. They did submit some grants to the state looking to replace a windsock and just some equipment. But the one I really wanted to touch on was the simulator. It looks like the simulator use is increasing with local pilots and pilots from UND. So that's great news. And I saw on their minutes that they are looking and discussing the fly-in. I don't have any dates on that, but it looks like they're going to start discussing the dates for that, so I'll let you know when that is. And that's all I have.
Okay, thank you. Dave?
So I have nothing tonight.
Paul?
I have a little bit we've been having a lot of meetings on electrical, looking forward to the future and things that we need to upgrade and things we need to do. It's all right now in talks. We're still waiting for a lot of information to come back from Sam Jones, has really been with Barnesville, with Missouri. They have been very helpful getting us connections. The last great connection he got us with is with Moorhead as a possible. They can do some of our maintenance. They are aware of the fact that we're having a hard time finding a lineman. So Sam has been great about being proactive and trying to find us something to help us in the interim, so to speak. So I really want to give a shout out to him. He's been giving us a lot of attention to try and get our system addressed and things that we may need. But while doing this, we also, of course, find out a lot of maintenance items that need to be done, a lot of upgrading that may need to be done, looking at the future 5, 10, 20 years. You know, we don't have a real great contingency plan if one of our transformers went down. And part of our problem is our electrical use is just really increasing. So it's getting to where we could be maxed out if we added another big electric user on the line. So we're looking at how we're going to upgrade that. And of course, when you're looking at a transformer, you're not looking thousands of dollars, you're looking millions. So these things will be coming down the line. They'll probably have a presentation at some point on a lot of this. It's good timing though, because we're in the budget cycle here to kind of discuss these things. Also, we're going to be doing a rate study coming this fall. So it's kind of this great storm is coming all together at really kind of a good time to hopefully be able to address what we want to do moving forward. Because of a lot of these things looking at moving forward, they're not looking at doing a ton of, they're doing the maintenance that they need to do, that they kind of have started. And they're going to be looking at doing what they need to get done, of course, to keep things up and going as well as they can. Part of that is, I don't know if you guys saw the quote, I did email it just shortly before I came, and also didn't know if it would go through, so I gave you a project quote for some boring that Sam would like to get done here in Hillsboro. There's 2 different projects there. The first bore is for Wright's Repair, is to completely eliminate the overhead. And it looks like, in the picture that he drew me, it looked like they were actually coming all the way over from where McWilliams building was there. With all that overhead, it looked like they were going to bore that all the way over. And then also, because they're doing that, they also have to, I don't know what if it's their offices for Burlington Northern here. That is also included in there. The second bore is for a project, the original project for 2022. We need to make a feeder tie between the sub trail and the Hillsboro sub so we can backfeed the water plant from the generators. So that's what that feed is for, and that basically is going from kind of around where Subway is over to that substation. years I can understand from him. I'm just kind of, like I told Sam, I said, I'm learning all these terms and words and all this stuff, I said, and it's gonna be a process for me, and I tell you, Casey was at those meetings, and she was absorbing it all quite well, so I didn't have to as much, I can just go ask her. But she can attest to, there was a lot of conversation about a lot of things, a lot of items that we need to address moving forward. With that being said, unless somebody has questions, because this is falling into our procurement policy of over that 10,000, so I'm asking for a motion to accept this bid. It comes to $21,025 to move ahead with those two projects. Then there is money in electrical yet. So.
So right now, the generators can't tie into that substation.
The way it sounds, yeah. Yeah.
Does anybody have any questions for Paul? If not, do I have a motion?
I think it needs to be done. It sounds like a good plan. I'm gonna make the motion.
Dave makes the motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Jason. Any other discussion? Paul?
Yes?
Dave?
Yes.
Nicole?
Yes.
Jason?
Yes.
And a yes for me. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Anything else?
We did meet, I did meet also with MEI. We're just waiting for them to give, they were gonna, correct me if I'm wrong, Casey, they were gonna file a report to us at some point of the findings that they had, and after talking to us, he was gonna break down everything in a condensed version, so hopefully at some point we'll have that in the future. So, they're the ones that did all the, kind of the map, kind of looking at all of our lines, looking at the electrical, looking where we're overloaded on a circuit. Can we change some three-phase, can we change the phases on the lines, and things like that. He worked a lot on that things. And of course, that's been going on for quite a while. So hopefully you'll get a report in English that we can all understand, and then we can kind of close that book on that part. And it's really going to be, it'll be really valuable moving forward, I hope, when we start doing more engineering on the whole electrical system. So, thank you.
Who's the gentleman working with the, in front of the courthouse? One of the guys up in the bucket truck, and there was a guy on the ground giving them instructions, I think, there.
It probably could have been the guy from the Minnesota, from the utilities, who's working, who was in the, it would have either been, there was three of them in town today, so there could have been either Missouri River out of Barnesville, or it could have been the municipal.
Minnesota,
The school,
MMUA.
MUA. With that's the school that's training Brian, so they come up.
Brian was in the bucket.
Right, so he basically is giving, so what Brian is working for is hours to get his journeyman lineman, which this is going to be a long time. But that's part of that program that we had here that was $10,000, whatever, that's part of that training. So basically it comes up once or twice a month, and they pick things that Brian can do, and then they walk him through it. So basically Brian was in school today doing that stuff. So. And those guys were all on, and he was even in on the meeting today with Moorhead. So.
Thank you. Anything else, Paul?
No, that's
Jason?
I have, from the sheriff's side, I have no update on the docks. I haven't been able to talk to Steve to see if he's able to get in touch with Circle of Friends or not. I did hear from somebody that they did take a dog from Grand Forks this weekend, so it sounds like they are at least doing that. So I have to get an update there. I do know one of our continuous dog problems has left the town, so hopefully that will help. That's all that I have right now. Hopefully next meeting I'll be able to catch Steve and have an update on Circle of Friends.
Okay. Anything else?
Nope.
Couple things for you. The tree letters have went out and we've gotten some responses back. Some have said no, they don't want the trees removed, and some have said yes, they're okay with that. They're glad it's happening. So as soon as that list gets compiled, then we'll probably give it, I don't remember the exact deadline, but then we'll get that project started. And then the next step in it is getting trees back in, so finding places for that. So I don't know if it got done or not, but the girls were gonna order the bags, the water bags for the trees, so that we have those in when we're ready to go. So we're not watering so much every day. It's more of fill the bag up and then you got 4 or 5 days worth of watering. We held a couple interviews for the electrician, and unfortunately they didn't show up. One in person, one we were supposed to have, so we're still looking there. The public works employee, at this time, we're still looking for that position as well. We couldn't come to an agreement on the salary range based on what we currently have and what we could offer.
Can I make a question on that?
Yeah.
I know the one gentleman that was brought up last week, 2 weeks ago, and I made a comment about can he bring anything else to the table? Because I'd heard through the grapevine that he did do electrician work at some point. Was that ever addressed? I don't know who did the interviewing with him.
It
Was that
was.
ever addressed? If he, if you're talking about the pay, could we do something? Because obviously, if he would finish that or get back up to speed on that.
And that's what we said. We had told him that if he finished, then we could raise his pay. And Casey could speak more on it, but the conversations that Casey and I had working into it was if we started him here and if he was able to get a certification in 6 months or whenever he got it, then we could raise his pay based on the day that he gets it. But he wasn't willing. He needed to be higher and then still above that once he would get the certification, so. Which would mean we'd raise that base rate up. Because yes, he had experience, we probably could have went up some, but not to the point that they wanted to go. It was almost, was it $7 more than what we normally start at?
Yep, about.
Do we ever want to look at that? Because, I guess I'm a little concerned about the fact that if we have good qualified people that more than are qualified for the job, or they can bring more to the job, do we need to look at that starting wage? I hate to see us losing good people because we were concerned about starting them down here, and if they have experience, that they should maybe be started up a little bit higher. I'm concerned that we may be losing people.
We could be, but if we start them at a higher rate, the way that we have it written in our policy, or our handbook, we then need to raise everybody else up that maybe would be at the bottom. So, the 2 that we hired that are at the lower end at the beginning, that means if we raise his, do we need to raise the other ones up too as well? Because that's what we ran into the past. And you see this in other places where you start somebody up, a new person making more with similar experience to somebody that we have. Well, you get this compression gap. And so I'm not saying we shouldn't, and that should be something we need to look at the next budget cycle for sure. But at this point, we were willing to work and do some things, but it just couldn't come to an agreement the way, and Casey is the one that spoke to him mostly. It was.
So what was the stopping? Just the wage, and that was the only concern, or what was?
But for the one who interviewed, his initial bottom dollar was $29 an hour, and then he listened to the meeting. The next morning, he gave a different offer. He said $25 an hour for the first 6 months until his certification can be had, and then he'd like a 6 month review with a possible $8 to $10 per hour increase.
But he was willing to start at the 25?
Very, very bottom dollar, 25.
I think we really got to look at that
What other experience does he have?
electrician. So, and if he's willing to get, my thing is that if he's willing to do that, and I don't know, that's why I'm wondering if he's willing to do that, and I have no idea how long that process takes to reach that. But I look at the difficulty we have in this town of trying to get people to do electrical work. I think if he's willing to do that, and of course, we'd have to ask him that, I think in the long run, it's gonna be beneficial to us, just because we struggle with getting any electric work done. You know, it's just hard to, right now, we're trying to get a gentleman out of Hatton to do load controls. And we've talked to probably 3 or 4 electricians before him. And they're just so booked and so busy that, if this gentleman thinks he could do that kind of stuff and is willing to learn it, I hate to see us pass up on somebody that could be beneficial to us. So I don't know what your guys' thoughts are.
What's it gonna take him to get his electrical license?
He said 6 months.
Are we talking certification or are we talking master?
Certification.
Certification, so he wouldn't be master, which we'd
So,
still have to have another master electrician underneath that would sign off on everything that he does.
Yeah. I don't know how I feel about that, because I feel like the other people that are also working really hard to get certifications, and some of them it's gonna take them quite a bit longer than others. And, they're hard workers too, but, it's a really tough thing. I mean, absolutely discuss it, but it should be compared on how everyone is moving along within their own certifications, because I think every person is important in every area and not just one. So I think it would be a good discussion to have.
And Casey and I talked, we probably could have started at like 20 and then move up when he got his certification, but it didn't sound like he wanted that. And there is other applicants for that position, but I understand where you're coming from, Paul. And I think, that's one of the things I'm gonna look at as we move into the budget, and look at salaries. What do we need to do? Because we may need to move up the bottom dollar.
I agree. I think our thing is to look at salaries once they come up, because I don't like the idea of starting somebody off and then, like you said, we have to, like somebody said, Nicole said, then we have other people that are doing a good job that also take it as a slap in the face, because I've seen that as well. So I do think salaries is something we should definitely visit.
So, and hopefully whoever gets on in July, we can figure that out. So we'll keep those positions open and we'll keep looking. And hopefully we can find somebody. That's the ultimate goal. Sooner than later, because that kind of comes into the next thing. Late this afternoon, Casey took it, but Public Works is asking for another summer employee to help out with. Because they've, with the individuals that we haven't been able to hire, they've got more stuff going on, or the same amount of stuff going on, but are doing it with less people. We do have one of our former employees that is willing to come back. So that would help, that it's an experienced person and not trying to train them in, so. You want to talk about that a little bit more? No, or? We can, yeah, and, ultimately, I think we're saving some money by not having those other employees, but, it's up to you guys whether or not we should hire. It seems like we're going in the right direction. They're starting to get lists on what's going on and what's happening, so we're trying to get caught up. I know Paul works with them every week. He can maybe speak more on that.
Well, I think, we are basically 2 people down, and the guys are picking, the problem is Jay and Zach, and Brian, they're picking up a lot of the miscellaneous stuff that Jim always used to do on top of what they're doing. And we're not paying those out right now. I think if they need help, I think that we should probably look at, especially if we have somebody that's worked there before. I think I'd make a motion to hire them, and until at least, whether it be the understanding that until we get that other person hired, maybe we say, hey, this is contingent on, when we hire a full-time guy, we're going to reevaluate whether or not we're able to keep you on the rest of the summer. But I think, and it's not helping this year when we got grass growing like crazy and all that stuff, so they're trying to keep up. They're not, so.
Second Paul's motion.
Can you figure out that motion, or you need clarification?
If-
I can
Yep, got it.
Make it again.
Nope, we're good.
Motion to hire,
So we'll hire and we'll reevaluate if and when we
hire somebody else.
hire another full-time.
Just make them aware of that, and I'm guessing they're looking for just summer help anyway, because that's what he did in the past, correct?
Correct.
So, it's, they got somebody now that we don't have to train, they've already been there, done that, so,
So we have 2 spots open too, you said?
yeah, well, we still have the superintendent and
Yeah.
then also, John's spot that we haven't hired.
Yep.
So he's a past employee, does he get a bump?
Really, if we start losing any money, we'd
He
have
would
to-
get the normal
Exactly.
raise unless you guys move to raise him more, which then if we did that, we need to raise the other employee as well. I would think.
Well, the other summer employee, I understand, has worked here before too, hasn't he?
Yep, and you guys, I had asked about that, and you guys didn't want to give him a raise more than what was normal, which they'd still get their normal 75 cent or 50 cent. I want to say it's 50 cents.
I believe it's 50.
Yep. So I think they'd be right around 1750, somewhere in there.
That's what they'd be at now.
Yep. Or what they would be after the raise, I think they were around 17 last year.
Well, I think if they're good employees and keep come back to work for us, I don't have a problem with giving them a bump.
Over and above the normal rates.
Well, let's finish this motion out first.
Okay.
Is there any further discussion on hiring the additional summer employee? Nicole?
Yes.
Dave?
Yes.
Paul?
Yes,
Jason?
Yes.
And a yes for me. Motion carries. Now, if you want to give them additional, then we need a separate motion, and it would be for 2 of them. And hopefully that would go back retroactive whenever they started, so.
I'll make the motion.
How much?
What is the bump they're gonna have?
Currently, they got a 50 cent raise, so they're up to, they'd be at 17.50.
Okay, I'll make the motion to pump them up 50, did you say 50 cents?
Well, that's what we normally would move them, so do you want to move them that, or you want to move them? The 50 cent, we wouldn't need a motion. If you want to go more than that, then we would need a motion.
Well, how much more, I'm trying to understand how much more we should give them.
But so last year they were at let's say they were at 17, this year they're at 17.50 automatically. Whether or not you want to go more than that.
Yeah, I don't know, what do you guys think we should give them?
What's our summer help normally start at? 16.
16. They've been here 4 years, so. They don't have the opportunity like we do at the pool. Once they get certified, they get higher wages, so.
Do you want to run with your motion, Dave, or do you want help?
Well, I'm just trying to get a grasp on what.
I mean, if you want to get them to $18, or if you want to get them at $18.50, you can say that too.
So here's thought for you, Dave. My thought would be to bump starting wages for our summer help to 17 and give them that in addition, give everybody that in addition to what that would bump them to.
That would work too.
Yeah, I'd be fine with that.
Okay. Do we have a second?
What is the motion?
To move the starting summer help wages to 17.
Oh, for everyone that's new or existing?
Everyone.
Okay.
And then the current.
The current would go up with the same dollar amount.
Okay.
do we have an issue getting summer help at that wage?
Sometimes we do, sometimes we don't.
I guess personally, I'd rather see, as long as we're not having a problem getting that help, I could see starting them there. I just think it's more of a motivator if you give them that 50 cents or $1 raise to come back versus starting, because you start them out so high, well, then you start giving raises. Now they're getting as much as their full-time guys.
But they'd have to come back many years to get up to.
Right, I mean, the ones that we have
If
now
they're
have
starting
been
at
back
17,
4 years, and so they would have got $2 over that 4 years, so. Is there a second on the motion? Second. Motion dies for lack of second. Rick?
I've just been listening to you guys, and you got people that are coming back, not because my grandson's one of them, or this individual that you're talking about, but when they're coming back, they're going to college, and they're working 4 and 5 years in a row for you. I don't think giving them, boosting them to $18 an hour is anything when you go to Burger King or any of these other places, and look what they start them off. You've got guys that both of these two, my grandson and Landon, they could run the backhoes and payloaders and everything else. I mean, what do you get when you work for the county or any construction outfit if you can do that?
The county part-time, if they've been there for so many, come back so many summers, they get the same raise that the full-time employees get. They get, full-time gets 3%, the part-time gets 3%.
Do you have another motion on that you guys would like to make?
I'm gonna make a motion that we raise them up to 18, because I think for the, not for the new hires, but for the existing,
So give them an additional 50 cents.
yes.
Is there a second?
I think if they're just good enough to come back year after year,
So how would we figure that in the future?
We'll rewrite it, I'll figure it out in the policy so that it's in there somehow. I don't think we want to be doing this all the time, so. Maybe it's 50 cents the first year, $1 the second, or, yeah,
if they keep coming back.
it's a staggered or something. Chuck?
Nothing to do with the part-time that we hire in the summertime, but what are we paying these part-time people we hire to haul snow in the wintertime?
I believe they're at 15.
You're at what?
I believe they're at 15.
You believe that?
I believe that's where it's at. I can't remember 100%.
Okay, I was just wondering, because I've heard different, and hearsay is easy. Thank you.
Do I have a second to Dave's motion?
Second.
Moved by Dave, seconded by Jason. Is there any other discussion?
So you're leaving the base salary though, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Any other discussion? Paul?
Yes.
Dave?
Yes.
Jason?
Yes.
Nicole?
Yes.
And a yes for me. Motion carries. Okay.
So you're gonna redo so that's kind of the goal, that 18 after they've been there for 4 years? Or
Something, I'll try to figure it out how we can in the policy. Which will take some time, so be patient.
Well, I just look at it, it's the same way with our linemen and everything else. It's kind of supply and demand, so to speak. You know, if you got people, good people applying for the job, you know, and they're gonna do it for $16 or whatever it might be, you know, then we can always give them a raise as they go through, but I'd like to see where they're at before we start giving them the big money, so to speak.
All right. I did do some looking in. If we want to look at housing the dogs, I haven't reached out to anybody in the public besides those that have expressed interest, but we do have interest in people that would watch if we house them. There was a kennel that's already pre-built for $7,500 right now. It's a used one we could look at getting if you guys wanted to do that. It's a 4 kennel, freestanding. There's 4 runs in there, and then on the back side is where the dogs will stay, and it's got heaters and stuff in it. So completely outside so it can be housed outside, then you would just have to take the dogs out and walk them around. If you guys want to go that route, like I said, it's $7,500 for that one. That one's a used one that I had found, if we could possibly get it. Otherwise, something similar to that, we're gonna probably be looking for anywhere from $7,500 to $15,000 to get something. Unless we build it inside, would be the only other option. Which we could look, I haven't looked over in the shed over there to see if there would be room that we could do something, but. So just keep that in mind unless you guys wanted to go ahead and try to see if I can get this used one.
Where would you want to put that?
I would suggest that we probably put it far enough away from residents, so somewhere out on Public Works property out of the way would be the best option, where they're not, people wouldn't hear the dogs barking. But that hasn't been flushed out either, so. I just wanted to give you information on it.
So how much again?
$7,500 is what they were asking.
I guess I'd prefer not to do anything until we know what our plans are moving
Right.
forward,
Right.
where the dogs are gonna go.
That's kind of what I figured, but I just wanted to throw it out there because I did see it come across.
Excuse
Yeah.
me, how
Yeah.
many dogs do we catch? Are there more being let go more loose than, because I've seen some run around, but what do we average of picking up?
Well, we haven't really picked up any because we don't have any place to take them.
Well, who's gonna, the people that have these dogs running around, are we gonna be charging them to pick it up? Why should
Correct.
taxpayers pay anything for housing them unless that there's a fine levied against those that are constantly letting their dogs run loose?
Which-
Is there anything in play for that?
Yes, there is in play already in our ordinance that have those things. We'd have to set additional fees for housing the dogs once they get them, but we'd have to spend the money up front to get the equipment we need so that we could house them. That's where we're sitting on it. And so this is more of just, this is about what it would cost for that. There's other options, there's cheaper options, but we'd have to find a space inside to do it, so.
The reality is, we may end up with dogs that nobody will claim, and that we would have to eat, so.
And there's stray cats, a lot of them too. Right, Rick?
Right. They get that
But
money.
these dogs then, if nobody claims them, say somebody lets them off, or they jump out of the car and can't catch them or something, then they eventually go to Fargo or Grand Forks to a housing unit, right?
That is the hope, correct. We'd house them only for 72 hours, which is our ordinance. And then at that point, if nobody claims that animal, they would be given up for adoption at one of the agencies. So they're able to take them free and clear.
So nobody destroy them here, it would go to Fargo or something.
And there would be no destroying that. Most of the shelters now are no-kill shelters, so, that I'm aware of.
What kind of fines are levied against the people that are consistently letting their dogs run loose?
I can't tell you off the top of my head unless JR knows.
Up to $1,000, up to $1,000.
But what's normal, Jason?
It's handled, it goes through the state's attorney and it goes up as the violations go up. I don't know what the bottom base rate.
I was just wondering what the starting,
Yeah, I don't know that right off the top of my head. I'd have to do some research.
So you'd have to first find the people that are doing it and then go from there.
Or like the one that I was speaking about earlier, they have 3 violations against them. Well, they left the state. We'll never see, there'd never be any, you'll never see any of that money.
But right now, the big issue is where they would go.
Right.
Because we don't have a place to take them anymore.
Right, and that's the issue. And that was the hope, was if we can house them for 72 hours here, we've met our ordinance, so then when it goes, and then the shelters are willing to take them a little bit more, because once they get them, then they know that they can do their evaluations and what they need to do, and then able to go up for adoptions, where Right now, if we take one in, it may go, if it goes to Circle of Friends, they may have to hold it for how long and then do the same thing. And we were paying for that anyways. So it's more of informational today, just, just keep you guys on the aware that that's what it's gonna cost about.
And the biggest problem we run into too is we have no way to prove that they have vaccinations, so we can't just put them anywhere and relieve ourselves from the responsibility and liability. So it's kind of.
And who would take care of these dogs or cats?
Ray would.
Okay.
I cannot express my appreciation for you doing that.
I'm glad you're to be one of the volunteers, Ray.
We got that problem solved.
Let me tell you.
And I heard Cole was interested in watching the cats.
We can all laugh at that statement, but seriously, you get 2 dogs, 3 dogs, even 1 dog. A dog isn't like, per se, a cat. You can feed it once a week and it'll live, where a dog has got to have some maintenance.
And that's part of,
And who wants to get stuck doing that?
that's part of this too. That's why we're not moving ahead yet until we not only find a place to take them, but we also have to find the people that are going to do exactly what you're talking about.
Right. And that's part of, like I said, I don't want to ask people if it's Ray or if it's Chuck or whoever. The goal is to have a rotational where maybe you only have to do once a month, maybe it's once every 2 months, that's your week, you're in charge of the kennel. And then if there is dogs, there's dogs. If not, then that's good. You got the week with no dogs. But you'd only care for them for 72 hours, and then at that point, we take them to one of the shelters so that.
Well, this McWilliams does he still take animals? Could they go to his, if they've got kennels out there, could he be paid then or something to take them? Well, is he still open with animals?
The only problem I could see with that is that what if the animals are not vaccinated and now they bring in
Yeah.
other dogs, they're gonna run into issues.
Plus you'll have the cost of that daily daycare.
The last thing that I have is, I was in contact with Kathy. She had reached out and she was sad of hearing again that the pool wouldn't be open. And so she said she would be interested, but she didn't want to clean it. And so I'd asked the guys to just pump out the pool, and then we were talking about when we'd have availability to see about cleaning. And somehow in that time, there was some communication in town, and basically, not so grateful about having Kathy come back. And saying that I offered a big raise, which I did not. I hadn't offered anything. This was last week I talked to her, or she messaged me, we talked, and I said I'd see what I can do and come and talk to you guys today. But since then, we had people that, oh, we don't want her back, she's hard on people, and all this and other things, and I don't know that she wants to come back, so. Which is sad that a community would do that when the only best interest that she wanted was to open the pool for the kids.
I kind of have a problem with people like that. They'll complain, but they won't come up with a solution. How long have we been looking for somebody? And we know what we have with Kathy. She's done a great job, and I look at that as just a squeaky wheel, and I think, I understand how personal that you can take that, but I don't think that's the feeling of this commission by any stretch. So,
Good job, Chris.
I think that, we have to, and I tell that to a lot of people.
I don't think it's the, opinion of the general public either. Everybody's been thankful that she has run such a good ship down there.
Yes.
She was more concerned about the little kids when they're getting their lessons. I had a daughter and a granddaughter that both worked under her. Yes, Kathy makes you work, and it don't hurt anybody. You're hired, you're getting paid for it. You won't find probably ever somebody to replace her that was as dedicated as Kathy.
I think to me, the big thing is, and talking to Levi, I think, Kath, I think we have to be more proactive to find, potentially maybe find that person that can take it on for her. That she can help, maybe take their hand and say, okay, this is what we need to do for swimming lessons, this is what we need to get things ready. I think, yeah, that's gonna be a project to find that, but if we're not proactive and try and find that person, well, you're never gonna, we'll be back here next year talking the same thing. So we have to try and figure out how can we find that person, and I push it back on the residents of Hillsboro. We gotta find somebody. You know, you gotta talk to your friends, your neighbors, you know, maybe some college-age kids that are looking for, that can come back from college and maybe did lifeguarding someplace. They're looking for that summer job. It really falls back on our community, you know, to find this person, and if we're not proactively finding somebody to do this job, well, Kathy, if she doesn't have anybody to work with to do this, you know, we're gonna be in the same boat every year.
Well, excuse me now, is it true that maybe next year it won't be open because you want to do something at the bridge? I've heard this. Is this true?
No, 27 is when the bridge.
27.
Oh, so
But the
it's
pool could still be open when the bridge is,
We just have to go around.
just have to go around.
meaning,
Because the bridge would be closed, so we'd have to go around the far way around unless we, you know,
but
had a boat.
what
I
was
suppose it could
thinking,
ferry them
kids
back
can't
and
go
forth.
by the Catholic cemetery and around.
Yep.
So you would bus them out. They'd be picked up and bussed around then?
We'd have to look into that and see what we could do.
Because if the bridge is gone, there's no other way but bus them around out by Letnesses and the Catholic Church in there.
How about a ladder bridge? Would that work?
Pardon?
A ladder bridge, would that work?
Well, maybe, or just let them swim across.
Well-
They get wet in and,
Get their lessons in then.
yeah.
Yeah.
I know a lot of kids that would appreciate a ladder bridge across there.
You test it out first.
Levi,
Yeah.
you know, I think when you're talking about Kathy, it's not just Kathy in this town. You look at any of your personnel, I don't care what they're doing, whether it be one of your guys down at the shop that have been here many, many years, are very qualified. I've always found when I was in business, it costs you more money to train than it does to keep the people you have and have well-qualified people. And I think that's what all of you need to start looking at, is paying more and keeping and getting qualified people. And your goals will be a lot less than they are now, always looking over your shoulder, who are we gonna get, or if somebody's bad-mouthing this one or that one. Get up there with your salaries and get people. It's way cheaper to maintain people than to train them. And I've always found that to be true in any seminar I've ever gone to over the years. They're always talking about the cost of training people. And I think that's something you should seriously look at.
Well, I think we've come a long ways in a lot of our
Yeah.
salaries, but
Yeah, you have.
but it's hard to keep employees when you have, and it's not the whole public, it's just people in general, some people that put other people down or do negative things, and then it drives them away from wanting to do it. They can only take it for so long, and pretty soon enough is enough. And so, you know, and that's, you know, I maybe can talk Kathy back into it. I hope I can. But, you know, I didn't push her this year because she had a lot of family issues going on and trying to get a house sold and some other stuff. So I wanted to make sure that she came when she was ready. And so she said she was. But my hope is that we can still get her back. I hope you guys are still willing. And I think
Well, the main
last year
issue-
she was at 25, yep.
The main issue is there can be a bunch of kids in school and say if he was still running the store, that can go over there, learn to clerk. You have to be a certified person out there and be able to teach kids to swim. It takes a little special training. Are any of you and us, are any of us certified?
No.
It isn't like maybe we can go and work and clerk and stuff, but this is something kind of special, and it's just seasonal, and it's gonna be taken out on the kids.
That's
So we need to maybe need to call and tell Kathy, go ahead. I just thought she was done with it last year. She covered our butts last year, but if she's willing to come back, I will call and encourage her to come back if she can. And to hell with the ones, excuse me, who sit there and complain because you don't see them out there doing it.
And most of the time I would hold my tongue on it, but I thought it was enough is enough, and that this bad mouthing, this complaining has cost potentially not opening the pool. And ultimately it is for the kids. So I'll reach out to her again, I'll see what I can make happen.
So she's heard the stories and that's why that's changed her mind.
Right, I talked to her last week, and somehow from the time that I asked the guys to clean up the pool, to get it pumped out so we can get ready to clean possibly this week, between that, these rumors started going around, and that's all it took.
Kathy's put up with a lot of stuff down there. I mean, over there, when I still worked for the city, down there. And the kids, they like having fun, you know, and she was strict with everybody there just for the safety. And the swimming in the water and all that, I thought she was good down there, how she treated everybody. Yes, she was tough at times, but she had to take care of things down there. She was very good.
Well, my opinion is you should talk to her again and trying to get her to change her mind and yeah, rumors hurt but I think the pool should be open if it's able to be open.
And even on the cleaning side, if, you know, we hired another person this summer, but on the cleaning side, you know, maybe we gotta put the word out. You know, I'm willing to go help, you know, if we need help to do something to get it going, you know, let's get it going, because we can't, this is a huge asset to our community, and I think we, like I said earlier, we just need to try and find somebody that Kathy will work with and hopefully guide moving forward. And there are some things down at the pool, I think, that somebody that isn't necessarily certified can do, you know, if you're checking people in or whatever, but I understand you gotta have a certain number of lifeguards and everything there, but is there some way we can think outside the box that can maybe, they can do a lot of the paperwork type stuff, the scheduling and things like that? Maybe there's somebody that can do that. Maybe that's something she doesn't mind doing, I don't know, but if we can take some of that load off and kind of transition, you know, I think, ask her what she's thinking, I guess.
I stand by my opinion. I think I was the one that also brought that up, that I think what we really need to do is try to get her back for one more year at least, and try to see if we can't find somebody, and like you guys are talking, get somebody coming up, because that's the only way we're gonna get that here in Hillsboro. We're not, again, nobody's gonna move from outside of town to come manage our pool for us for 3 or 4 months.
And we may have,
That's a great idea.
with some of the younger kids now that have graduated, I hate putting a high school kid in a leadership, in that manager role, but we have some that are coming out, so there's a possibility there. A couple questions that I do have for you. Casey reminded me that she was at 28, so if you're okay going up to 30, or if I can offer up to that. And then I was gonna look and see if the Babe Ruth and Legion team in the past, they've come and helped do different things. If we were able to give them a stipend to help clean up, to get that cleaned quickly, whether it's $1,500 or $2,000, donate, not a donation, a fee, whatever you want to call it, to the Legion team, or write it off on the rec bill, since the rec board pays for that, however you want to do it. And then, what's the other thing? We probably wouldn't be as open as much. We'd probably only go Monday through Friday. I don't know that we'd be open on the weekends
I
again.
don't think we were last time. if I
No,
remember.
and I'm thinking Friday we'll probably be done in the afternoon. We probably won't do an evening session, so. And then hopefully we can get swimming lessons and all those things, but if you guys are willing to do that, if you want to make a motion to some or all or part of those things, and then I'll keep working on it.
When's the pool scheduled to be open?
I haven't even scheduled that yet, because I was waiting to hear what you guys want to do, and hopefully I can get Kathy back on board, so.
I'll make the motion on up to $30 an hour if she's willing to help us, if we can find a replacement to kind of help start training in.
Okay. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Moved by Jason, seconded by Paul, or by Dave. Any other discussion? Dave?
Yes.
Nicole?
Yes.
Paul?
Yes,
Jason?
Yes.
And a yes for me. And then are you guys willing to see if we can get a group in to help clean? So we can get it done in a day or two or less?
How do we normally do that in the past? I'm sorry, was it normally Kathy?
It was usually Kathy, and then we'd have Public Works employees come and help, the summer ones, and then the pool employees. But I don't know if we can pull the Public Works guys away.
Is it worth checking into some of the groups that are in Hillsboro? I see that there's a lot of students that have been participating in extra things around town to basically like earn points or money towards trips, and we've got, you know, groups that are planting flowers. I mean, is it maybe an option for someone to do that, or Boy Scouts, or, you know, something like that that's kind of a community thing?
Possibly. I don't know if we can.
I don't know, to me, I think it should almost be more of a community thing that, and maybe even more so parents, you know, helping out.
Yeah.
And helping out, because I'm sure Kathy has got, and the city employees too, probably got certain ways they want things done. And I'm guessing that's some of the concern too, is, okay, what kind of quality of work are we gonna get? Some kids do a great job, some kids you might as well do it yourself because they don't, you know, so that's just an unfortunate reality, but, you know, I'm not grouping them all together, but you do have a few that you have to kind of babysit, and I just think that, I think the more skin that the parents and the community has into it, the more they're gonna realize, hey, this, you just don't open the pool. You know, there's more than just going out there and opening the pool. This has to be done, and this has to be done, and I think that the more people that see that and are out there, I think it's good, so. But I think first things first, let's see if we can get her to do it,
And I'll hope to have it open by Hillsboro Days. That's my goal, if I can make it work. We'll see. Okay?
we should probably, once you get that done, we should probably get applicants out then for lifeguards.
I think we have some.
We have one for sure, and a couple other applicants who put in for Public Works but didn't get it were lifeguards in the past, so
Okay.
I can reach out to them.
And I forgot, the last thing is, we've talked about this in the past, and how do we want to handle it? Do we want to hire somebody else? Do we want the city employees to do it? But letters were sent out last week on the grass, was it Tuesday?
Yes.
Last week Tuesday, normally I think we give them 5 days. I can't remember. Anyways,
Yep.
the amount of time. But we had 3 letters that went out for grass that hasn't been cut, which we would cut and then charge that place. Do you want me to see about hiring a company to do that, to get it done? One in particular is next door here that the letter went out to.
Do they get fined then, if they don't mow it, or do they just get charged for us mowing it?
They get charged for us mowing it.
And how do we get reimbursed on that?
If we don't get reimbursed, it goes onto the tax roll as a tax lien. So we do get paid, no matter what.
I would say we have our staff do it, just, I think, liability reasons and stuff like that.
Okay. Rick?
You know, the young fellows that mow my yard, it's Tim Lushing's sons. They do a great job. And I have a number, and I'm sure they would be willing to do it. They're doing a couple lawns where people don't live, they're keeping them mowed down. But I'm just giving you their name as somebody, I'm sure there could be more than glad to do it.
But they said they want, if we want the city guys to do it, then we'll have to do it that way.
Oh, I thought you were looking for something.
One way or the other. I didn't
I'm
care which,
sorry.
I wanted to know which way you guys wanted to do it, so.
The parish, Old Methodist Parish Church, United Parish, those people left town, I understand, so we won't get reimbursed, but there was a note on the door, and somebody called, and that sounds like that property, I believe its owners in Fargo are maybe willing to hire somebody that checked on it here, because I reported that. It's not our parsonage now, but I hate to see it, it's next to our church, and it looks terrible. So maybe,
In which, you know, we send the letters, hopefully that they would respond and get it taken care of, and some 90% of the time it gets done, but we have, it just reminded me when I pulled up that there was one that didn't get done, so. So we'll get that taken care of.
Are you saying that the letter would be sent out and they have so many days, otherwise if they don't do it, somebody will mow their lawn and bill them?
Yep, correct. It's already been sent out. It was sent out last Tuesday. Casey sent it out, and it's, you shall have 5 days from the receipt of the letter to be in compliance, so.
What's the liability in that if somebody accidentally like spits rocks or, you know, chews up some wire or things like that, or mows their trees over, or what's the liability in that type of thing?
I would assume that our insurance would cover.
My recommendation is don't do that.
Yeah, that works too. Don't do it.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no guarantee, but that's what we try. But unfortunately, we can't just let it go because we then harbor, we become health hazard, and there's a whole bunch of other things it gets into, so.
Animals.
Is there any exceptions to people that go on vacation? Sometimes people go and they don't get back for a couple weeks.
I think we're,
Is that just,
I think we know those people.
These are beyond vacation grounds.
It's more than 2 weeks.
Usually they won't.
These are more like,
It's more like I just don't want to mow my.
I don't know that these
Yearly
have been
long
mowed at
trips.
all, Nicole, this year.
okay, I'm just asking, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, I don't
Yep.
really pay much attention, so.
No, these have not been mowed at all this year, the ones that I looked at, or took pictures of, and then the beautification looked at them. We sent pictures to them, and they said yes or no, this needs to be taken care of. And the letters were sent out, and now, so, I just wanted to
Okay, well,
know,
that makes more sense.
I just wanted to make sure that you guys were, which direction you wanted. I hoped we didn't have to go this direction, but we are, so. Okay. There's nothing new on the beautification tickets. We have court this week, actually,
Finally.
which is not actual trial, it's just pre-trial conference, so. But we're moving forward. All right,
Did you want to touch anything on this, or just leave it?
we'll just leave it for now. Next item is the social media archiving. You guys have the quote.
I'm not sure how to feel about this one, because we've had social media for so long that I'm not sure why now, or, I mean, am I missing something there?
This was a push from this company that came and reached out to us. They're trying to drive business. So, my understanding of the law is that we just need to keep a copy of what we're doing or what was put on social media. I don't know if we have to keep it. If you have comments, then you gotta archive those comments.
It's hard to say. I see it as a gray area. When we make a record in the office, we have to follow our records policy of keeping it so we can produce it if there's a written request for it. Social media is a record that we're making when we post these things. So I'm not exactly sure what kind of output they make when they produce these records. I know they said other cities have adopted this, which seems favorable for it.
I think it's
but-
an easy search where you pick the day and then it'll print off what you found, what day you needed.
The biggest plugs that they were giving for having the software was, let's say that there's a pretty popular post on one of your social media accounts. They said that whatever is posted, even if somebody goes in and deletes comments, whether it's a city representative or a private citizen, it takes snapshots of every single thing that happens. So you can still go back, look at what was posted, possibly deleted, and that's the biggest push that they kind of gave me. I didn't know if it's, I mean, knock on wood, we haven't had any requests for social media public record requests because we post pretty innocent things on there, friendly reminders and that type of thing. I kind of want to leave it up to you guys. I have no feeling one way or the other.
The biggest thing is it's a pretty substantial amount of money. It's
Yep.
almost $6,000 to do that annually, and $7,000 the first month.
They did offer an economy plan that's less storage and a cheaper price. Their normal price for that is $46.88. They would give it to you guys for $34.88. Then the annual recurring service would be $29.88. So,
Is this the same company last meeting, or did you get a
yes,
second?
same company. Yep.
Could we potentially ask this question to probably North Dakota League of Cities and like the EDND folks and see if anyone has, proceeded forth with something like this?
And not a big city,
Smaller
smaller
ones.
Right.
ones.
Right.
Yep. I'm good asking that.
And I've looked for some other companies, but I haven't found anything with this specific wording, so that's been kind of the hard part,
I
Yeah.
haven't either.
so.
Joe
Okay.
Kramer have any input on something like that?
He's never, I've never heard anything in any of the other organizations that do anything like this.
And I don't even see this on, like, this isn't something we see at the school that I've heard of, so. Okay, we'll keep moving on. I don't think we have anything else on the audit.
No, nothing on 20 to 22. 23 is just the info
Oh.
that I provided for you guys,
Oh, yes.
as far as what Ike Bailey would
Sorry,
charge.
I forgot.
Yep.
So yes, if you guys want to move forward, did we hear back from the state at all?
No, we didn't. So I can call him again. As of right now, we are tentatively on the schedule for Ike Bailey, the second full week in July for audit 2023. But we can take it off too. So it was just a place filler, and we could get on the schedule again later if you guys would like to go that route.
I would prefer that we keep up on the audits now that we're good on them. We did have it in the budget to do the audit, so it might be a few $1,000s more than what we had planned, but ultimately, at the end of the day, they're able to get it done in a very efficient manner for us. Where sometimes the state audit, I've seen, takes the full year to get it done.
Yeah, I agree, I would see what you got right now.
So if you guys want to do it again, just need a motion to approve with Ike Bailey.
What was the price?
Between 30 and 35,000, they could have it done within a couple months pending no large surprises.
What was the state again?
State didn't get back to me prior to today, so I don't know their price or their timeline yet, so.
Timeline is probably the biggest thing.
Yes.
What do you think the normal price was? 10?
I'd say they used to be 10, 15, right, in that area?
I think so.
That's been a couple of years.
So it's been,
And that
that's
changed
been at
too.
least 4 years.
When do you need a decision made on? You need
Well-
it tonight, or?
The sooner the better that we're on the schedule, because every time that we push off, then it pushes the schedule back.
So this has been budgeted already for next year too? Or for this year's budget?
I
I-
think we planned it in there.
I'd have to look, I'm not sure.
I would okay if it is on our budget, but if it's not, I think we gotta see where we're at on stuff, so. I do agree that we need to keep it, but we also need to make sure we're following our books as the best we can. Because we already have enough surprises, so.
Well, we can hold off until next week, or next meeting.
Next meeting, yep.
I just personally, I'd be interested in here if the state ever calls you back, but I think, I like Isaiah Bailey too, but it's, right. They seem like they did a good job
Yes, Rick.
for us.
Go ahead.
Are you talking to do the 23 year?
Correct.
And how did we come out with the other ones?
Give me 1 minute, I can tell you.
Casey probably knows too.
Uh,
A lot, they just had recommendations, typical recommendations, and every audit comes up with, it seems like.
Yep, I can pull up what the last pages were. Just give me 1 minute and I can find it. It was a few things that we'll continue to see pretty regularly on audits. One of them was staffing. We'll never have the staffing issue taken care of, or I'm doubtful that we would. Another was having reconciliation done in a timely manner. See if this is the right one. This might be it. Okay. It's way at the bottom. Oh, don't want that. Go away. Okay. Okay, here we go. Scroll. Yep, segregation of duties. This is one that'll be on the audits very regularly unless there's an increase of city office staff. So we'll expect to see that for a good while. Preparation of financial statements, reconciling, and just ensuring month-to-month financials are up to date for the commission. Adjusting journal entries. This was a weakness within those years that needed to be adjusted for the end of 2022. So that's getting done.
Wasn't there a lot of problems with things being entered in the wrong places?
That's what you just said, by journal entries. By journal entries, right? That's what you was just talking about?
Yeah, I know.
Yep.
I'm saying that was,
That was a concern, which is where journal entries will be done with Ide Bailey between now and the next financial report for the commission. So they'll have it straight as of the end of 22 going forward. So that's something I get to work on here pretty soon.
I
So
think that's probably one of the best moves the city commission ever did was get this audit, get things pulled into place.
yep. The other items that are on there, capital asset records, we have that created right now, inventory and all that. And that's the end of the list, unless I missed one. So those were the big highlights of the 20 through 22 findings.
And I would hope, that we can get this done sooner than later for Casey's sake. That way, everything that's in the past is done and it's a new fresh slate as we move forward with her, so. Next item on old business that got missed was the second reading of the container ordinance. So we already had the first reading in that meeting. Last meeting, we just needed the second and final reading, and then it would be adopted in. So, do I have a motion to approve the second reading of ordinance 534?
I'll make the motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Moved by Dave, seconded by Paul for approve the second reading of ordinance 534. Any other discussion? Seeing none. Paul?
Yes.
Nicole?
Yes.
Jason?
Yes.
Dave?
Yes.
And a yes for me. Motion carries. Next item is the Renaissance Zone application for Olson Hardware. Casey, do you have any more information on that one?
I do not. The main point of contact at the state is out of the office through Wednesday. I have nothing further than what's presented. It doesn't appear that updates or renovation will be happening, not according to the application anyways, it's just the purchase is what they put on the application. There was some discussion a little bit between JR and myself through email about if that's able to be done or not. So that's where the discussion is right now.
In which we probably need to wait.
Are you reaching out to them with these concerns on this application? They're aware of what the problems are?
Not yet, no. It was a discussion had just today, so. And then the application came in a little, it was towards the end of last week, so. And my attempts to talk to Ricky at the state, I can tell you when I reached out to her. Would have been on Thursday that I attempted to talk to the state, so.
And that's just to see if this particular project qualifies?
Right, yep. On your guys' applications, it does state that a purchase is applicable for Renaissance zoning. But then in other verbiage, there's concern about it not being applicable, that renovations or updates need to be made. So,
From what I've seen at least, if you look at our development plan that was passed in 2014, this qualifies as a Renaissance zone project. They can qualify for the income side of things, which we really just rubber stamp it, and that's up to the state to do. It's the property tax exemption, which is specifically asked for. If you look at our program guide, it says they want to have capital improvements made onto it. Are you able to bring up that part of the guide that I'm talking about and for us?
are you talking on the actual Hillsboro one?
Yep,
I
correct.
bet I could. Did you include it in that email earlier?
I included a snippet of it.
Yes, I can bring that up.
That would work.
Okay. Okay. There we go.
In the previous application, they said there it was going to be a lease, so does then a lease agreement has to be sent with too?
If there is a lease, you have to know all the parties involved, all the mechanics of it. I don't know if this one has a lease involved. I can't remember the application now. Even if there was a lease, it's the same idea though. There still has to be, according to what we have for the property tax exemption.
This is Nicole. I know there's a few steps to this, which it isn't the easiest thing to do because the state also has a particular application, and then they have our application, and there is mixed verbiage in it with, and I too also, I work a lot with the Commerce Department, and so I was hoping I could scoot around Ricky into another contact. However, that lady in the office did not know, and she said, unfortunately, Ricky is pretty much the one that's very versed in this, on what that verbiage particularly clearly reads, because it gives a very gray amount of information. And so I had some questions about that on how that lays out, because if the application goes wrong, then, you get denied because it wasn't interpreted the right way. So, I was just looking, I had asked Casey to see if I had anything that I was missing on it. I went through the process, but it's different when you select those different options, so.
Could we conditionally approve it? Because it's date of approval or conditional approval. We could have conditionally approve it upon the state.
Well, so yes, we can approve it, but we have to follow that development plan that we put together. As I said,
Right.
they can qualify for the income tax side, but for the real estate tax side, what you see on the screen there is what we've allowed. We allow a percentage of the city's assessed building value based on level of reinvestment. If you follow the star down, level of reinvestment means capital improvements only, not the purchase of the property or cosmetic improvements. In short, repair, replacement, or renovation. So for property
Unless
tax.
there's a renovation. then we couldn't offer any of the property tax.
Correct. At least according to what we've passed in prior, we'd have to as it says there, the city with DCS approval may revise this property exemption, but as it stands,
Right.
we're bound by what we did in 2014. So yes, we can approve it, but we'd be approving it for zero unless they come up with capital improvements.
And this one wasn't asking, well, they could do sales tax.
They can do the income tax side of
Income
things.
tax
Yep,
side.
yep. So yes, we can approve it. I believe it fits all the other boxes, but
So we can approve it as a sales tax, but deny the property tax.
or you could even say you are approving it for the property tax, but they have to prove they did more than 10% reinvestment to qualify for any.
Right.
So you're still approving it, but it's up to them to show the numbers.
So when I did my renovations, it had to be at least 50% of the true and full value of the whole building. And then I had to put that and list that and provide some other documentation to that. But I also, because of the age of the building, ran into an issue like for changing structures of that nature, that even though it's not under the National Historical Society, it could potentially be placed there. So that had to actually go through the state for approval too. So there's kind of a two different thing here. And just looking for that clarification, that has to be kind of thing.
Okay. And even on the application here, it says commercial 50% for rehab.
Yeah.
We could approve it and allow it to go through as is.
I would say that would be the recommended course, is approve it as is, and when we talk to them, we'll inform them of this is the way we're reading this. If they want to pursue a different property tax avenue, they may do so.
Right.
But this does meet the qualifications of the plan if the city so decides still.
Right.
The rehabilitation is the one that's the sticker point out.
Right. So they
It's-
just wouldn't get the property tax incentives. Do I have a motion then to approve as is? Paul, your thoughts?
Yeah, it's kind of, I guess I'm more the, we can make a motion, but I guess I'd rather make sure that everything is on the up and up and that everything is right and the application's filled out. We unfortunately see this a lot on a lot of our applications, is they're just not completely filled out. It might just be me, but it seems like there's a lot of them that are just not filled out, and I understand, I don't know if this is something that's time sensitive to them or not, but,
I think it is, and that was their,
I think they prorate. I think they backtracked though, because I remember they went all the way back for mine. Like I finished renovations in July, but I didn't get the exemption approval until October. But they backtracked it back to the July of that date.
whatever
So-
date you sent it in, correct?
Yeah, it was the date they sent it in, and so I think that portion of the letter comes from, has to come from Casey saying, hey, such and such project occurred. As of this date, this is when this started or this ended, whatever the project may be. And then they send out a letter to put on file with the city on approving it, and then they'll give those dates.
Like JR said, we can approve it. If it doesn't work, they can resubmit new paperwork.
Correct.
But
do
then
you
the
have to say
pro-
specifically what we're questioning, or is it contingent on the state accepting it?
Well, so it's a lockstep process in the sense that the city has to approve it first, then the state reviews it to make sure it meets all the guidelines. So we kind of have to approve it first. It is time sensitive because according to how we have this set up, it has to be approved before they take use of the property. So that's another element, as they say they want to start July 1st there. And other than that, it doesn't meet all the qualifications. It's filled out, it's signed, it's everything, it's just, we can't give what our program guide does not allow.
So we're approving the sales tax, or the income tax, they
Yep.
just won't get property tax exemption, based on the paperwork they've submitted.
I'll make a motion so they can get the ball rolling on it.
Dave makes the
If we have to
motion.
come back.
Is there a second? Is there a second? Nicole? Paul? Jason?
I suppose I can second it.
Moved by Dave, seconded by Paul. Is there any other discussion?
You have that, so that's all in the wording of the motion as far as being accepted by the state.
Well,
So it's
this,
kinda con-
it gets completed, and then it gets approved through the city, and then they have to do an application as well. But if we approve an application without the details, that could potentially come back on us too, because others might also fill in those same applications. So that's where I was looking for clarification on timelines and, you know, what is the necessity from the city side to the state side, because I don't want to get people denied or bumped back if there are issues. Like, I want it to be a smooth process, to just do it, you know? But if you're looking for, Levi, if you're looking for a motion to approve the income tax, I don't have an issue with that one.
Correct.
I just want clarification on the other one.
On the other one, it looks pretty clear cut. According to our Renaissance Zone policy guide, it said they have to do at least 10% in order to get anything.
Correct.
And I think the state has it at 50 by their pamphlet. But
I will note, there are two different programs for the Renaissance Zone. There is the purchase, which this one is qualifying under, and then there's the rehab, which is the much more common one, which is the 50%. So this one is under the purchase, which we still allow it, but we have this step formula, which I'm not sure if you can see, but that's where this sliding scale of discount to property tax is coming in.
I'll send it to her.
Yeah.
Did you catch all that, Nicole?
yeah, I think so.
Okay.
I think so.
Okay. Is there any other discussion? Dave?
Yes.
Jason?
Yes.
Paul?
Yes,
Nicole?
Yes.
And a yes for me. Motion carries. All right. Next item, our Public Works Superintendent position. There was 3 of us that were able to meet and had interviews on last Monday. One of them was still unable to make it, so we only interviewed Sheena Schmitz. She seemed like a very qualified candidate, had a lot of experiences in water treatment and wastewater, is willing to move to the community and be part of the community. And so, no motion came out that day. They wanted a little bit more information. I took her around after the interview and showed her the town and showed her the equipment and some of the stuff we have, and she seems pretty willing to come in and learn. There was a lot of hindrance in the beginning, just not sure if she would, unsurety of the position, I should say, so. Nicole or Jason, do you have anything else you want to say on her?
No, I think that pretty much sums it up.
Okay.
I would agree.
I didn't get in on the interviews, but I've read over her application, and I think she's a good fit for the city. She's got good qualifications, I feel.
She has a really good application. Her interviewing questions was where she was very hesitant. She knew what she wanted to do, with specifically like water, but she was very hesitant on the other aspects of the position because where her job comes from, they actually have separated departments. And so she hasn't really been able to have the opportunity to work, like she knows about streets, but she hasn't worked in the streets department because she was the water department. So she had a little bit of reserve there, but she really was a good communicator. But she was very hesitant on that, I would say. Would you agree with that, Jason?
Yeah, I would say so.
But she's seen a lot of the things that we're looking for, like the plan or the putting things down on paper, making sure that we're doing those things. She's already doing it on the water treatment side. And she kind of more one-on-one. She's not, I mean, it's an interview, so you get a little more one-on-one. She seemed a little bit more willing to be part of the community and take those on. And I asked her about it, and she said it was a little bit better than what she thought, so. So if you guys want, we can have a motion to hire her. I think putting her right at about 75 would be the fair place to go with the qualifications that she has, if she's willing to take it at that.
If there was no recommendation from Public Works, then nobody from Public Works was involved in that?
They didn't have anybody there, but at previous meetings, a couple of their Public Works employees did say that they had talked to like Ferguson's, and they got a very good recommendation from Ferguson's about her, so they seemed very willing and open to the position, having her in either position.
I would say just from her personality, she definitely would be really good in the community. She was very good to talk to.
And she was willing, if you chose not to hire as Public Works Superintendent, she was willing to look at the other position as well, so.
And you said driving around with her, she felt a little more comfortable.
She
with
felt a
the
lot more
supervisor's
comfortable,
spot?
yeah. Like I asked her about it, and she was just, part of it was just the uncertainty of not knowing what was gonna happen or what was expected, and, you know, thinking, well, do I have to know everything about electrical? Well, no, not really. Just kind of learn as you go and pick it up and do the planning. And the planning skills, I think she already has based on what she had in the interview of the water side. She's done that. Took a treatment plant, or a water from paper and pencil to computerized and keeping records, so, and getting an inventory of everything, so I think I'd be very comfortable with her being in the positions, but it's you guys that need to make the motion.
Anything about her, so I'm not going to make the motion. So.
Yeah, I know I've read, but I'm gonna let one of you guys that did the interview.
Nicole or Jason, would you like to make a motion?
I'll make the motion.
At 75?
At 75.
Okay. Is there any other discussion, or is there a second issue?
I'll second.
Moved by Jason, seconded by Paul, or by Dave, to offer the position of Public Works Superintendent to Sheena Schmitz at $75,000. Any other discussion? Nicole?
Yes?
Dave?
Yes.
Paul?
Yes.
Jason?
Yes.
Any yes for me? Motion carries. Okay. I'll get in touch with her and we'll go from there. Next item, we have 3 special event permits. We have the
Can I ask one thing before we move on? Is there going to be a probation period, I'm assuming?
6 months.
6 months.
the Rookery Rock Winery, Hillsboro Days wine sales.
Rookery Rock.
I think I said that right.
That's how I read it.
That sounds right.
Sounds right.
I did crap.
I move to approve.
Can we just approve them all, or we have to do
What?
them individually?
Uh-oh.
We have to do them individually because there's,
I'll make a new one tomorrow.
all right. Nicole makes the motion, is there a second?
I'll fix
All
that.
right. Can we do them all at once, JR, or do we have to do them separate?
You can do them all at once.
I thought it was, this was in there, so that's fine.
No.
So then we have one for the Vets Club for the wedding reception and Hillsboro Days for the Vets Club. Do I have a motion to approve all three, I should say?
I'll make the motion to approve all three.
Okay, Nicole, is that a second?
Yeah, I'll second. I did review all of them.
Okay. Is there any other discussion? Dave?
Yes.
Paul?
Yes.
Nicole?
Yes.
Jason?
Yes.
And a yes for me, motion carries. I do need a, JR forgot to put it in, I think. But basically, it is our resolution allowing consumption of alcohol on the public right-of-ways for Hillsboro Days 2024, which would be on Thursday, June 13th, from 4:30 p.m. to Friday, June 14th at 2 a.m., and then Friday from 5 p.m. to 2 a.m., and Saturday, June 15th at 11 a.m. to Sunday, June 16th at 2 a.m. And they shall only happen on West Caledonia, starting at 121 West Caledonia, known as the Vets Club, to the west side of Main Street, and then the north sidewalk of West Caledonia, starting at 24th Street West, commonly known as Goose River Brewery, to the west side of Main Street. The western and eastern sidewalks, as well as Railroad Park, starting at 111 North Main, commonly known as the Ann Bar, to 15 South Main Street, commonly known as Tap That. No glass containers will be used on the public right-of-ways. Do I have a motion to approve the resolution?
I'll make a motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Is there any other discussion? Been properly moved and seconded. Nicole?
Yes.
Jason?
Yes.
Paul?
Yes.
Dave?
I'll print
Yes.
it one, yeah.
Any yes for me? Motion carries. I'll give a couple announcements. Remember that to put your sump pump hoses outside and not in the sewer system. And Hillsboro Days is the June 13th through the 16th. And then do we have any citizens that would like to address the commission tonight?
You know, the only reason I'm thinking of this is because of the sump pumps you said about pumping them. Have you ever driven around town? I see the street sweeper going around town, and I hire my yard being mowed. And when they mow it, they know that they don't blow it out in the street.
We have reminded in the past, putting in the paper, maybe we just need to do that again.
But I think it looks terrible when you, and especially when you're paying somebody to drive around the street sweeper, and then somebody's blowing their grass out in the street, it looks like hell, you know?
There is an ordinance for it, but we'll have to get it put in the paper again and out on social media. That's a good reminder. Thank you, Rick. Anybody else? Bonnie?
Paul's waiting for this one. Well, I think you know what my complaint is about. According to the banner here,
Uh-oh.
this I'm really ticked off about. I'm not saying it, you're the banner gentleman, right?
Yes.
Okay. First of all, I'm ticked off at Murphy and whoever else was at this business with this economic development from the May 10th. Paul and I have talked. It is my sister's property that Pfeiffer wants to buy out here. They want 15 acres. We met with them this past week, and so we're getting someplace. I'm not saying People think it's a done deal, and it's not, and I'm not mad at you, but what was put in this paper, I'm not happy about. And it's not a done deal, we're working on it, it hasn't come up, no, it hasn't come up, yes. We're working with them on it. But number one, I told him, he said he paid for all the road in this. This road out here, from John Deere around the curve, and from the end down here up to Storm's tanks, was considered outside the city limits when my parents lived there. We put up with that road, there was lots of traffic, water and whatnot. And I've always been told it is a, now the word leaves me.
Township?
Township road. Now somebody's told me it's a city road. Somebody tell me here what road it belongs to. I want to know.
As far as I know, it is a township maintained road.
Maintained by the
Township.
It has nothing to do with the city then. It is not a city road that is kept up by the township. I want to just know, somebody's got to know. What is the road considered? And I'm not picking on anyone here or anything, but I want to know, what is this road considered? Or does it go back and forth to whatever's convenient for what we want it for? It's either township or city. And that road is traveled a lot from here down, from Sorms down, by a lot of traffic. It is a mess. I was out there today. I know it's been gravelled. The blacktop leaves at John Deere, a little ways beyond where they come up. Today when I drove, that mess out at John Deere, they're getting the machinery out, all that dirt just laying out there. There isn't a lot. But when they come with more machinery, they're going to bring more of that muck out. So if we have this Pfeiffer's here, they have to drive through that. And that road, that curve is terrible, it's dangerous. I had somebody tell me, you can't hardly meet with two vehicles because it's so muddy that going up there, you've got to come to the middle of the road, and there's plenty big trucks and traffic on that road, there is. And go out and sit there and watch it. And down in the ditch on this side by John Deere, it slants down, it's a bunch of mud. Actually, I went to put gas on, and Jody said to me, what have you been into? I said, I've been out in my favorite road here. And it's gravel. Every one of you take that road home tonight. Seriously. It is so washboard, it's just like this. It's got to be hard on the car, which Paul will make money off of then. But seriously.
You put the washboards in?
Yeah, I drive by there 50 miles an hour.
When my tire, my bottom of my car. But seriously, you all drive out there and see. It's not me. I talked to somebody today. That road is terrible. Now, where is the city money? A township, county? Somebody's got to have some money. Bismarck, you get grants, you get this. Can't we get that road fixed? And it shouldn't be fixed for Pfeiffer's. It should be fixed for the people that drive here and pay taxes, first of all. And I told Pfeiffer, he should not have to pay for fixing that road. Once he buys the land, if he does, he goes across the culvert into the land, that's his responsibility. You people want business in this town, then put out some money, put out something, and I don't want to hear we don't have the money. We're worried about this land out here that they want to build on and that. I mean, I'll stand on this with him. This is terrible. You want business, then you better put out a little bit. That road should be fixed for the people here, and it should be fixed, whether it can be gravel, it should at least be blacktop Parkway. Now, there's 3 houses out there. None of them belong, are next to the city. And we don't want to be annexed into the city. But those people should at least be able to drive on some decent roads. They pay some kind of taxes. And it should be like this road over here to 81, why can't we get this? Do you know how many trucks and maybe the beet trucks are coming down here when they come in to go at the stop sign to the beet plant? But I pass many trucks going here. And then why can't, if we need help in paying, the beet plant, the company that hauls the stuff to the beet plant, they could be liable a little bit because they mess it up plenty. And it should be paid right to 81, just like this one by Marlene Deals. But I seriously, I said, I will go to bat with you, and I don't know that anything can be done, but somebody better, where is the money going? You know, I mean, I know there's a lot of roads that are in bad shape, but I feel that if you want a business in this town, that you better put out some money a little bit. He should not have to pay to fix that road. And this business here, about this letter from Terrain Door or whatever with the Bowman County Development Corporation, I don't know if it came from here for information on them, or Pfeiffer's had them send it. I don't know what took place. But first of all, we were not in negotiations for 2 years. They hounded us for 2 years. I got calls, my sister got calls. It was a hounding in a way. Well, then Paul suggested we get together and listen to him. Okay, fine, it doesn't hurt to talk to somebody. And then in here she comes and says, nobody, I'm mad at them and I'm gonna go to a meeting of theirs because this really isn't to do with you. Pulling in, they say 10 to 15 auctions per year. When we're told 4 or 5, might be smaller auctions, but they're on 10 to 15, and pulling in 2,000 to 4,000 people from across the country, that's crap. Every time, 2,000 to 4,000. People tell me these auctions are done on the TV, through internet or whatever. I don't go to auctions. The last one I was to was one for a farmyard when I was a little girl. Most people go up to this. They might drive through, he says, and look at the stuff, but as far as Hillsboro getting rich off this, no. They'll buy some gas, maybe some food, there'll be food out there. We got a restaurant, 2 o'clock it closes, can't get out. Subway isn't open. So, I mean, as far as people coming in and spending a lot of money, I don't see it. They're not going to come to the drugstore. They haven't got strips there. Somebody might buy a little something, but most of it will be coming in to go to that place. Maybe 4 or 5, maybe you can get, you know, another one. How much they do, say, in the country or at a small sale, I don't know. But he told us. And there won't be a lot of employment out there from Hillsboro. Not like the bee plant or maybe Dagelman's and that. So we weren't happy. It was like, it almost makes us look that if we don't sign, give them the land, sell it to them, it's going to be our fault. Because we're taking this from Hillsboro, a business. Just like Kathy. People, she does a good job, maybe she's tough, sometimes that's okay. But how's it going to look if we say no? Maybe it's our land, maybe we don't want to sell it. And then to say it should get done right away, there's a crop there that we have to honor our renter. So I'm kind of mad at Murphy in this meeting. I would have liked to have been at, but that's not your fault. But what I'm just saying is, I do think that you people, every one of you, go out there tonight. I'm serious.
I drive it 3-4 times a night. I know what you're talking about.
Okay, am I crazy or not?
No, but again, where you say it comes to whose responsibility is it? And if all those houses aren't annexed, I can't imagine that the road is city.
Say, Bonnie,
So that, there's nothing that we could do. If we wanted to pave it, we can't. It's not ours.
maybe I can shed some light on this, Bonnie. This road, the other one where you come down 81 and you go around on the east side of town.
Yeah.
You bypass it. I was in on that And I can't remember how that all went, it's been a long time. But I believe that, I think the road we're talking about over here is a township road. But am I right, Ray? Yeah, but I believe that there's, when we worked on this has been years ago, I believe that we, once we got like this, when there was gonna be a housing development and stuff, once we had all that into play, just like out there what you're talking about, I think there's funding and different things that can be acquired that will help you out. I mean, what your concerns are, getting this road done, I really do. And I like this one, and like you, and I agree with you, to bypass the town, what it wouldn't do to save on Caledonia, what you're spending to repair that street with heavy trucks. So, I mean, I don't know who.
Well, what's this road out here considered?
County Road 11.
Okay,
Yeah, but I think maybe somebody, Levi, I don't know if that's, you want to reach out to somebody to see what's available, if there is something available.
I've
For
looked.
funding, you mean?
For funding, I've looked. I mean, we're on with DOT, but it's a matter of time before we can get on and see.
How about the townships, if they apply?
The townships could possibly get on.
That's
but-
what I'm saying, maybe we should, I'm not part of it. I don't think we do that.
oh, you could half it, take the county or the city, and because it is a business,
But you
and we'll
can't,
look
but you
at it
can't
with
do
the
that.
city.
You can't do
And you
that.
can't, township, okay.
Another thing to keep in mind too, Bonnie, you talk about those people that live out there. Can you imagine if that was paved? Then the next thing we'd hear is, there's so much traffic out here. Why is there so much traffic out here? So you gotta keep that in mind too. The better you make the road, now, do they want every beat truck going around town? So be careful sometimes what you ask.
But they
because-
didn't, they know there's a lot of traffic.
Yeah.
They live there, they see it go. We got gravel now, but where, who has to come in and maintain this, and why is it so rutted? Is it because it's not maintained? Some people I've heard say it's rutted because you speed up and stopping and starting, well, they aren't on that road like a beat truck or something. So, maintain.
Paul, although, I'm not to throw water on what you just said, but I don't think any of the people that are living on this side care about those trucks that are going by their place. You never hear anybody complain. We hear them, it's well, we're only a block away, but I've never heard anybody. So I don't think that has a whole lot of merit if trucks are going, if that road's paved, if we can get it paved, if there's trucks going around.
You realize what it would cost to pave that?
Well, what's it cost?
Thanks, Chuck.
The state works with that.
Yeah, but still, how do you know what we can get, Chuck?
So just the section from where your dad's place was to County 11, or to that township road, back in 2022, when we were estimating it, that portion alone would be $309,710.
And that was back in.
Well,
That was back in
Matt,
22.
can't at least you do this, if you keep it gravelled and that, and the township can do that and get it worked out, there's gotta be a way to maintain it so it's better, right?
You have to talk
I
to
mean,
the township.
I'm not an engineer, but literally, it is like this.
But Bonnie, you'd have to go to a township meeting to ask.
Right,
them.
that's where I intend to go. But I mean, it should be able to be maintained better. So why at least can't we get it from John Deere where it ends? If the township could come at least and put it blacktop to where it starts to curve. First, you're gonna have to fix that part of it.
Townships don't have that kind of money.
Yeah.
No. That's why you will not see a township road that is paved. And they're usually in worse condition than gravel county roads.
Yeah, I
Besides
know
that,
they say they
besides
don't-
that road out here, even when I worked for the county, that road needs to be something done with drainage, all the way around that needs to be drainage done before you can do anything. It's all all the dirt work's gonna have to be done. You can't just go on blacktop this road, lay black.
No, it has to be leveled out more.
But that, you have to do all the dirt work, you have to move it up, you have to get it to grade, and it's just, it's not a process of just going out and grading it and laying blacktop. It's way more complicated.
So we will allow this to slant and be kind of a danger. And I point my finger at you because you're the sheriff department.
That's why there's a speed limit set there for safe travel.
There's a what?
Speed limit that's set
Ah,
there
that
for safe travel.
speed limit. You ought to seen the one go by me today, like a bat out of hell.
I think
So-
that happens everywhere, we can't be
I know
everywhere.
it, I know it, but this corner is getting bad and someone's going to get in an accident there or stuck. It's a mess. And at least if it could be kind of something done to kind of,
You gotta talk to the township.
well, I'm going to the township, but I thought I'd go here too and just say my piece because I figure it's a business that they want in. And I just thought there could be something that could be done. So I really don't care. If he says no, that's fine with me. Let it go to Castleton. Might not be any better there, but my sister will, they're gonna talk. But I told him I would at least try to say something. Obviously,
And you have to realize too, Bonnie, that you know, we're not gonna build a road to nowhere. You know, if the more things that are there, if you have a business out there that's a good business, obviously as a commission and the people, they might be more apt to do something with the road because it is being used more. But if there's nothing there, you know, we have to use our money to use it the best we can. But we only have so much money, we have to utilize it in the best way we can. And if we got people complaining about streets, could you imagine if we didn't pick the streets and we paved that out there? We'd all be running out of here. And then John would be the only one here.
The streets in town are terrible.
But we can't, but that's the thing is, where do we, you know, we have to, we only have so much funds. So yeah, we could maybe look at doing that when we do the streets, if it's actually our road. But
It's not our road.
it's not our road. So, you know, that's the thing is, and the township's the same way. They're gonna look at it from the standpoint, well, why are we gonna, if there's nothing there, we're not gonna spend the money for nothing that's there. If there's a big business there, they may be apt. And also you have to look from the standpoint of this business, 2, 3, 5, I don't know how many $1 million this property is gonna be. You have to remember that's also gonna be coming on our tax rolls, which now makes more, which helps with your taxes and my taxes and everybody's taxes, because there's more tax base that'll be out there in the future. So those are the things too, and I'll put my HBA hat on if that's okay with JR down there, because he's also HBA. But as a business, whether I get 5 people that come from the auction to eat at my cafe, or 1 person comes to my door, anybody that comes, that's good for the community. Whether, yes, we may not get rich from it, but we're sure not gonna say, hey, don't come because you're really not supplying enough jobs, or you're not really, how much are you gonna do in town? So from the business association standpoint, I think that's why the business association is on board with this, is because they see it as a potential asset, because whether they get 1 person or 100 people, it's good for the business association. And that's why they're proactive about it. They may not get rich on it, but they see the benefit to it. So you kind of have to look at it from those 2 standpoints too, that it may not make as big impact as you want because it's not a beet plant or a diggleman, but if they bring in 3 employees or they bring in 4 employees, whatever it might be, that's 4 more people than we have now. So that's kind of how we look at it, is it's an advantage to our community from that business standpoint. That's why business association supports that.
well,
I was going to say too, as a former businessman in town, it's not how much each individual business gets, but when you're a small business in a small town, every bit of revenue you gain throughout the year helps rather than lose it. And I know that for a fact, that it counts up. But you also talk about, like Paul said, about having a road to no place. I'm sure that, Bonnie, that I would think that they can at least improve that road for the time being, if you choose to have Pfeiffer come in here. And another thing is, the sales tax, which the city counts on immensely, any new farm machinery is taxable. Not the stuff that's used, but anything new is taxable, and that comes to, yes it is, I was told it was, Chuck.
Better check it out.
Well, I was told, Pfeiffer's told us that, that's taxable. And that would help the city as well, so I mean, there's a, I mean,
I'm not against,
no, I know
you know,
you're not.
Hillsboro. I mean, my ancestors were some of the first settlers here, so I'm not trying to,
So is mine, Bonnie.
you know, I wanted to do well, but you can see Fargo and Grand Forks are losing businesses. They're not doing so well. Things are closing there. And I'm just saying that a lot of times for this, a woman isn't going to come in probably with her husband and go uptown and shop for groceries here. She might get one thing or two. At the drugstore, there might be a few things, but we're not a town like we were when I was 13 or 12 years old, where we had more stores and we kind of stayed here and shopped.
But Bonnie, I said this when I ran, and I say this now. Our community, whatever we want in this community, that's the population, that's the businesses we need to have. If you want a grocery store needs so many people to keep the doors open. A gas station needs so many people to keep their doors open. And that's where we're at. It's not that we have to grow our community by hundreds of thousands of people, but we have to keep it going in the direction, because every year, it takes more money to do more things, and so you got to have a few more people to put into that pot. And any little bit counts. I can look into those two roads and see, but looking at them, part of what the issue is if you look at it, half the line is right on the road. So whose road is it when it's half township, half the city? And when you fix a road, generally it's taxed on to those people that are next to you. You know, if we're going to fix a street, whatever square footage you have in front of your property is what you would be taxed based on to improve the roads. Because if you have a corner lot, you pay a little bit more. That's why when Jordals came in and he built it, he decided that he wanted to put the roads in instead of us putting it in, because he could do it a little bit cheaper. And when he got done, he said, here, you take over the streets. Well, on the new development, they did it a little different, where we bonded it out, and now we're specialing it for that area has to pay off those bonds that paid for those roads. So if we put a road in there, ultimately, if you did all of it or part of it, if you did all of it, you're probably looking close to $2 million. Well, there's no way that the community, that we can put up $2 million for a road project. So the first hurdle we'd have to do is we'd have to go to a vote of the people to say that, yes, they approve this to go on their taxes. And are we going to be able to sell it if we're not fixing all the streets in town? And then if we're going to fix it, just like when we looked at the water drainage and everything else, there's all these other things that we need to look into place. You know, hate to say it, back in 2022, that's why we took a step back, because we realized that there's a lot of issues that we needed to figure out before we did a road project. So if we don't fix the water, we don't do this, we don't do that. But I can look into the two roads and see an answer. And
Well, I'm going to go to a meeting and at least find out township. If they can't scrape some, at least get that curb fixed. Try to fix the curb in the road.
and I would
Even
get,
do something, grade or something, but get that in better condition.
I would guess,
Would you agree with me since you drive it a lot?
I would guess, Bonnie, if they were going to put a road in there in the corner, that would turn from a curve to a T intersection.
Yeah, they'll come in kind of, you're coming straight in, you can go there, but it's the curve, but.
But I would think that would come out if there was a business that would have a road there. I would assume engineers would say that that's going to turn into a more of a T than a curve intersection.
Because it angles on interstate, so but they could kind of come straight off of it, but It's just a bad corner.
I wish, Monty, that we had, that I could pull money out of this pop bottle or wherever, but unfortunately we can't, and I wish we could do a lot of things. But all the things, you know, you looked at the roads, in 2022, it was 300,000 to fix that little road. We're probably at 500,000 now, the way things have went up. We look
And
at,
I know money's coming out to that site over there and helping out and stuff according to the paper. And I just felt when a man's gonna come in and bring a business that was wanted and that maybe somebody, whatever section, could try and help a little bit. To me, that seems honest and decent.
I'm sure if they for surely are coming in, I'm sure the township would be more than happy to sit down with them and talk to them if that's who's in charge of that road.
Because I think my cousin.
Because that's gonna bring a lot of revenue, tax dollars to that township,
Right,
so that's gonna help them.
you know, and like they said, people come by, stop and look, like you go in a car lot, probably, and look in Fargo, you know, and drive around and look. People come in and look at some of this, and then with machinery coming in, you got John Deere that's dealing with all this machinery. Well, now if you've got machinery, heavy stuff, and trucks coming in to unload and load, you know. But I just thought we could try to help the guy in all fairness, that's all, but.
thank you for your money.
If you get this deal done for us, we'll do what we can do. You know, it gives us one more bargaining tool to see what we can do with it, but if the deal doesn't get done, it's gonna be hard to, you know, if the county sees they're gonna get a 2 million, 3, 4 million, whatever that might be project out there, the township, I mean, they might look at, well, hey, then we need to do something here, so.
You know, that's another thing, Ronnie, like Paul's saying, and I've talked to you before about it, but like Paul said, if something's there, then you can make plans. And I think, I can't speak for the EC alone, but maybe even from the Economic Development Corporation, you know, it's going to take every one of us together to make this happen, but, you know, you are the stepping stone to us helping, us helping what you want done.
But I mean, it's up to us. My sister sells it.
Yep.
She's got to sell it first, but, and like Sheila said yesterday, you know, you can't fix the road till you get it all built because there's traffic, just like in the new section. Those roads are terrible in the new section because I'm sure there was construction trucks coming in. But I just felt, you know, in all honesty, that, because when I heard city, I'd always heard township road, but then I heard city, so I thought, I want to find out what is it considered. So at least I said my part, and I'm going to the, I think Bruce Bedicker, my cousin, is on the township, Hillsboro Township. We got gravel down, but that needs to be fixed a little, so. Take your dentures out and take a drive on the road so your teeth aren't chattering.
Thanks, Bonnie.
Seriously.
Thank you, Bonnie.
Thanks, Bonnie.
Thank
Thanks
you,
for your time.
thank you for listening. I'm gonna be sitting out here and making sure every one of you goes south.
Can I skip it since I drive it all the time? Can I skip it since I drive it all the time?
Well, I suppose you're out there.
Bonnie, if our viewership comes up now because of this, because you were here, we're gonna make you come every meeting now. So.
If your
Our
viewership,
viewership, yeah, online.
I hope nobody sees me.
Well, you just got reported, Bonnie.
I think Sheila said the camera is facing the ceiling, so you're probably lucky.
Because everybody, I think I'm a nut, and I probably am. So be it. Thank you, thank you.
Is there anybody else?
John
Ray?
Deere was out there today, and I seen what they drove some machinery out of, but they were out there with their payload and restricted mud off right away after that equipment went by. She's absolutely right about that gravel on the road, because I drove down today, and it's just net from the blade. They got a blade, when they take the main day, now it's got to be a little short, because right now you got all that.
They're going a little too fast with the blade.
Yeah, they're going too fast, and that's the cause. It is from right from the start all the way up to here.
Well,
I didn't know what did it, but,
It's amazing.
He knows, he runs everything.
so they're not running it right then.
Well, Bonnie, there was 14 people that just watched you, so.
that just watched me?
Yep.
Would they put her away?
No, they didn't say anything, they just watched it.
So you might wanna get a fine print markers for autographs tomorrow.
Does anybody else have anything for the commission tonight? Do I have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make the motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Moved by Dave, seconded by Jason, all in
Nicole's
favor?
still awake, we haven't heard.
Say aye.
She left.
Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Thank you, Nicole. Have a good night.
They'll all be
Thanks,
going to
guys.
Told Jer I want to put, fix the burrow buckets around town prior to Hillsboro Days. Donations. Alumni coming back.